Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Barry and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based here in the UK. Thank you for joining me for today's Fun Fold Friday video tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a popping box surprise, which is this little thing right here. So it is going to go like this, and when the person opens it up, it's going to pop. And it's going to have that. So I'm going to show you how you make this little box, how you make it pop, and a little sleeve or little box for you to actually pop it in so you can surprise the person you are giving it to. So yes, that's what I'm going to show you, what you can create tonight. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Links to everything can be found down below in the description. I will pop a list of the supplies which I've used down there as well. So yes, do check out the information down below. But I'll go through with the measurements, so just pause and rewind if you need to see what the measurements are. I will be working in inches for this particular project. So yeah, so just pause, rewind and have a little look at the measurements. I'll try and go slowly for you so that they are easy enough for you to write down so that you can replicate these yourself. But I think what we do is we will go camera down and then let's crack on with today's, what did I call it? Popping box surprise. So enjoy. Okay, so for the box, the popping box themselves, you're going to need to have 2 pieces of basic white thick here, and you are going to need to measure these here 8¼ inches by 7½ inches. Okay, so that you're going to need 2 of those pieces like that to create the box. Obviously, the most important part to make the box pop is you will need some rubber bands. Okay, so grab yourself some rubber bands, see what you've got in your stash, but the ones which I'm going to be using here is approximately, when it's stretched out in this state here, it is approximately 2¼ inches. So I'd say 2¼ to 2½ inches will be fine. Anything more than that, then it's probably going to be a little bit too slack and you're not going to get the pop which you want. So I'm going to be using this one here, which is a 2¼ inches when it's stretched out like this. Or I may go to the blue one here, which is 2¾ inch. Okay, so that's a little bit too loose. That one there is kind of just right. So that's what you're going to need, important part for you. So grab your basic white and you are going to need to score this. I'll just go through this first. You're going to need to score this along the long edge here at 2¾ inch and 5½ inches. Rotate it round onto the short edge and you will then go at, let's do it this way here, 2¾ inch, 3½ inches, 4¼ inches and 7 inches. So let's just bring it over onto this template which I've got here. Might be a little bit easier for you. Let's go through that again. So on the long edge, 2¾ 5½, turn it round onto the short edge and then measure it 2¾ 3½, 4¼ and 7. Okay, and then all of these pieces which we've got coloured in here we're going to be cutting out, but I'll go through that with you in a moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and score my first piece. So long edge, 2¾ and 5½. Rotate that round onto the short edge and go 2¾ 3½, 4¼ and 7. Okay, so that there is my scoring done. Then what I'm going to do is I'm then going to cut away the pieces which I mentioned on my template here. So I'm going to get rid of this part here, these corners like that. So but to work with me on this one here, I find it easy to do this in the trimmer. You can grab yourself some scissors if you want to and cut them away manually, but I find that if I do this in the trimmer, it's easy enough to do this in the trimmer. I get a nicer cut. So I'm going to line this back up to 2¾ inch and I'm going to cut up this line here all the way up to this section right here. Okay, And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side there. I know that was at 5.5 inches, line that up at 5.5 and cut myself up. Okay, and then going to turn this around onto the short edge, and then I'm going to cut down on this second score line down to this first score line here to remove this whole part here. So we know that was at 3.5 inches, so I can line it up at 3.5, cut up and remove, and then remove. And that's left you with these little tabs going on here as well. What we also want to do is we want to, I would say, is the best thing to do. Now, I've made these boxes so many times already. I think I've made about 6 of these, but I still have to think about what I'm doing. So I'm just going to fold this one over for a moment and fold and burnish this, because I want to pop a score line from this one to this one. It just allows me to see this corner right here. So I'm going to line this corner to corner up in the channel of my scoring tool, or you can manually do it if you've got a scorer. See, if you've got yourself like a little scoring tool, you can then just do that and then you can then score. But whatever you need to do, you just need to pop a score line from here to here. So let's just bring that up and just show you there. Okay, and then repeat that on this side over here. Alright, so that's what we've got here. So we've got our score lines in on this side here. Then what we can do is we can then cut away from this corner to this corner here. So pop it back into our trimmer. Line those score lines up with your channel. Or use some scissors, draw a line and use some scissors. And then just cut away at an angle like this. So that's what we have got so far. And now we want to now just fold and burnish all of these. And with this one here, we're going to fold this one up as we did, and then we're going to fold that one back, like so. And then I'm going to then fold back over again. So that's kind of created like this little V shape going on here, and then just carry on with the other straight lines. And then with these pieces right here, just fold that all open flat again, fold this one over, fold and burnish, and then on that score line which you've done there, you can then fold this over like so, and then do that. Do the same on the, before I do the same, we will do exactly the same on the other side, but I will do this one first. What we want to do is now fold that flap over so it's on the inside, and then we want to then cut away these pieces right here. So we will do this with our snips, and we're just going to cut in like that. And like that. Okay, that then just makes everything so there's nothing hanging around inside the box when it's all folded up. It just makes it go a little bit easier. So just repeat that step on the opposite side. So we're going to go over, fold this one back, fold that tab over, and then snip away that excess. Okay, so once you've got your excess snipped away, that there is the starting of our box going on. What we want to do now is, there's a little tip for you, is we want to fold these pieces in and then fold this piece over so you kind of got it so it's going in like so. Grab yourself a pencil and just mark where these kind of like parts are here, because we're going to snip this part away. Okay, and it kind of gives you the angle of where to cut, because if you cut here, it's going to interfere with this part here potentially. So I just pop a little pencil mark here and here just so I know where it's just easier to cut. And then I'm going to then open this up, so it's going like this. Okay, and then I want to grab my snips and then just snip down that pencil line to the corner like that, and then on the same on the opposite side like that. So and then when we fold this over, nothing is interfering with each other on the inside of this box. Everything's going to be moving smoothly with no interference. So that's that. And then the final bit of snipping, you just want to snip this tab down the bottom down here like this and like this. And that's the first part of this box done. So go ahead and repeat those steps on the second piece, and then I'll show you then how you then actually stick it all together. Okay, so here are your two pieces, which is looking like this. What we now need to do is we now need to stick this piece to this piece right here. And so we're going to pop some glue along this tab here, and we're going to stick it to the inside of the box. Don't be tempted to do it that way. Well, you could do it that way if you really wanted to, but the join is going to be seen on the outside of the box. So you need to make sure that you stick it like on top. Have it so that all your fold score lines are going in on itself, and then make sure that this part here gets stuck on the inside, and then that way it then hides everything on the, it just hides the join. Okay, so we've now got ourselves one long piece like so. What we're going to do, I just realised I haven't done my tabs on the bottom of this one here, let's just quickly do that. So then what we're going to do, it's now probably a good time if you want to decorate this. So we can then turn this one round, and we're going to then pop some of our DSP on here. So I've got myself 4 mats and layers going on here. So I've got 4 pieces here measuring 2.5 by 2.5 inches. And then I've got myself 4 pieces of designer series paper here measuring 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. And I've got myself an additional 2 pieces in a coordinating in a different pattern. Again, 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. With these ones here, with the 4 of the same pattern, just go ahead and then stick these to your mat and layers. Okay, and then once you've done those ones, you can then go ahead and then stick those ones to those squares like so. Okay, so that there is that part decorated. Just a note on this, just make sure you are sticking it on the right side. Obviously you want everything which is, this is the inside of the box, which is all folding in, so make sure that when you do stick those on, you are sticking, you turn it over and you are sticking to the correct pieces. Okay, so that's that one. You can decorate this once it has been constructed, if you want to just have a play around first to make sure that everything's working before you go ahead and decorate it. I've just done it this way. It also helps strengthen the cardstock as well, so when we pop the elastic band in and we've got a little bit of tension there, it gives it a little bit more strength, so it does help a little bit. But you can do, all of these were done with the decoration done after the box was constructed, so it can be done either or. So I'm just going to put some decoration on these pieces, and that's what these ones here come into. So these are the ones which are the same size, 2 3/8 by 2 3/8 as the DSP on here. But what we want to do is we want to bring in our trimmer, and we want to cut these in half. So line up the point and the points. We want to cut them in half, and then we want to cut them in half again. Okay, so line the point up with the blade, with the track, and then cut. And then we're going to do that on the rest of that, and on this square right here. And once you've got those pieces right there, you can then go ahead and you can then stick these to these outer part and the triangular parts right here. I've used a pattern which doesn't matter if it doesn't line up, so just think about that, how you want to decorate that. Make it easy for yourself. Okay, so that there is now our box decorated and all ready for the next part. So once you've done this, just go ahead and then just turn this over like so. Then what we want to do is we want to grab our elastic band. So I'm going to grab that smaller one which I said, which is about 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and we're going to then fold one side in and just pop this over like this. Okay, so that elastic band has gone in on the inside. Now there are tutorials where people punch holes in this and then tie it through, but the lady that I saw this one, she did it this way, and I thought, it's genius. I can't tie knots. I really struggle, and I'll be here all day trying to tie a knot. So this was just the easiest way, and I thought it was a perfect way of doing it. Doing this, I've seen a couple of other demonstrators do it as well, but yeah, so this is a really good way of doing it. So that's that one. Then what you want to do is we then want to then pop some glue along this tab here and this tab here, and then fold the thing over on itself so it then sticks to that side over here. You do want to make sure you can either use some Stampin' Seal Plus on this one if you wanted to. You can use some glue, but you do want to make sure you try and get as much of the sticky or whatever the adhesive you've got to the edges, because if you don't, it's going to start pulling away and it will look untidy. So just pay attention to that. But again, don't overuse it, because you don't want to it to end up sticking itself, which is why sometimes Stampin' Seal Plus for this may be handy, so you can get right to the edge. But then I prefer using wet glue because you've got a little bit of wiggle room. So it's whatever you're easiest. If you're finding you're too heavy with glue, then you may want to go with Stampin' Seal Plus or some kind of tape, red tape, something which is strong for construction. But so once you've done that, I'll show you, you can do it both ways. So once you've done that, you want to then fold this over on itself. Your elastic band's in the middle, and then you then stick that down like that. I'm just going to pull that elastic band over. So what I should have done is I should have then popped this elastic band and go in like this. Okay, so this is going to want to keep popping up now. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab yourself something heavy. And what can I grab which is heavy? For the time being, I'll bring my mouse in here, allowing this to stick down, and then we can then fold these ones in, and then we don't want to pop some glue on this again, and then bring this over and then stick that down like so. Don't worry about the tab just yet. Okay, so we want to I'm going to use wet glue on this one here. So I'm just paying attention to make sure I try and get as close to the edges as I can. You can either do one tab at a time if you want to, or you can be brave and do two. Okay, and then once we've got these done here, we can then bring that over like that, and then just let that stick. So just hold that down for a second or two, just for a minute or two, just to make sure that sticks. So you might want to just pop something heavy on this for the moment and just go and make yourself a cuppa. Okay, so once all of that is stuck, we now need to then stick this tab in. So if you gently let go of this tab, this is going to then come up, pop up and create this box. Okay, we then want to pop some glue on this part right here, like so. Gently pull it apart and then just tuck it in, and then that will then stick to that, and then you can then just pop that down, and again just leave something on this just to make sure that it is stuck before we move on. Okay, so that has had time to dry a little bit there, so that is what it is. So as we then, well, we can just gently do it to start off with, just to make sure that comes up into place, everything's looking nice and tidy on that, so I'm happy. So when that's done like that, we can then do this. It will then be in a box, and then it will then pop up and form its cube. So you can go ahead and you can decorate this however you wish. You can do all sorts in this. I've kept them relatively simple just for this video demonstration, okay, but you can do all sorts. So that's that. So you've got your 1, and I've created 4 now. So I've got 2, 3, and 4. So they're all going to go inside a box. So then when the person opens it up, these are all going to come flying out of them, flying out towards them. So I'm going to show you how you can make the box now for this. Okay, so for the box part of this project, you're going to need to have one piece here which is measuring 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, and you'll need to have a piece of another piece measuring 7 3/4 by 4 7/8. With this one here, which we've just done the 7 3/4 by 4 7/8, you want to score this at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Okay, and then we can then fold and burnish this piece. Then what we want to do is I would say we can decorate this part. So I've got myself some 2 pieces of designer series paper here. These are measuring 13/16 of an inch by 2 11/16 of an inch, and they can then sit on these 2 end pieces. Don't need to worry about these ones here because these are going to be hidden by the sleeve of the box, which we can decorate. So just go ahead and stick those 2 pieces on there. Okay, and then before you start constructing this, just grab yourself a little punch. I've got myself a little 1-inch punch or a die, and then you want to then just roughly aim for the centre and then punch yourself out what's going to be a finger hole, so it's a little bit obvious of where they need to pull it out. And then with the rest of this, we can then go around and just snip up and notch in, and do that on all 4 sides. Okay, once you've done that, then go ahead and then just stick your tabs to the inside of this box. So that there is your box part. With your next piece, what you need to do is you need to take this one. So this is the 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. Take it along the long edge, and you then want to score this at 1 1/16 of an inch. 4 inches, 5 1/16 of an inch, and 8 inches. Fold and burnish all of these. And then pop a little bit of glue along this tab, along here, and fold this over so the sleeve sticks and creates itself. Okay, so that's that one. And then if you grab your box, which you've got here, that then fits in quite nicely with your finger hole at the end there, so it's a little bit obvious. You can either push it out, but that way there. Okay, so with some decoration, I've got myself some more design series paper. So this one right here is going to be 5.5 inches by 2 11/16, which is going to go on there. And then I've got myself one here which is 5.5 inches by 13/16, which is going to go on the side panels like that. Okay, so that's my decoration of my box. And then what I've got right here is I'm going to be using some, I've used myself some of the dies. Let's just see where they are. Just try to show you what they are. I've gone ahead and I've gone and used the Wanted to Say dies here, which has got this lovely happy birthday die in here, so you can then go ahead and then just cut this out of your paper and then back it on whatever colour you want. And then that there is then going to then go on this like that, just so that gives that a nice, just a little bit of a happy birthday sentiment. And that there is your box. So what you can go ahead and do now is you can then fold these up like so. And carefully open this up, slide these in here like that, and I've seen them, because you've got some tension now on this, that kind of makes it a little bit more secure, because the elastics, because the boxes are wanting to pop. And then when this person opens this up, they're going to go like this, and then everything's going to then pop out at them and give them a little surprise. Okay, so that's what you can do. Now, another fun thing which you could potentially do is, why don't you put some money between all of this, like that. Pop that in again, and it's another great way of giving yourself some money. That goes out like that, and then all the cash comes flying out as well. So it's just another fun way of doing it. If you really want to be mean, pop confetti in it. Okay, so but that there is my popping, what do I call it? Popping box surprise. Okay, so you got yourself, showing you how to make one box. But obviously you want to repeat exactly the same steps 4 times, okay? And then the box here, pop them in, and then you're good to go. What did you think? Did you like that demonstration? And are you going to have a go yourself and create one of these? They're fun to make. It's a very, very good. I've been wanting to make one of these for ages, so I'm really pleased that I've been able to bring it to you. So yeah. But do remember to check out the links down below. Links to the products which I've used can be found down there as well as links to our website, links to our online shop, so you can purchase your stuff from us via our online shop. So do head over to mitosucrafts.com/shop, and you can order your Stampin' Up! Craft supplies from us via that link right there, or links can be found down below in the description. So yes. That there is that. So do remember to subscribe, also hit that all notifications bell as well as give us a thumbs up, and share and save this video for future reference. But we'll say goodbye for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again either on one of our lives, either on a Wednesday and a Sunday evening at 7 PM, or again for another Fun Fold Friday very, very soon. So until then, take care for now. See you soon. Bye bye.